So a little bit more of my take on surgery. I can definitely go into more detail about this in a subsequent video if you guys are interested and want to know more of my perspective and my experience, then just go ahead and send a comment, like, subscribe, and obviously view the rest of my videos. But when it comes to surgery, I had no clue how much, well, one, how much work it took, how much cerebral power it took. It definitely takes, a lot of intelligence. Like I said, there's a big difference between cutting someone open and really being a surgeon, understanding the disease process and being able to cure the person surgically, or at least give them a chance for a cure. So, for me, yes, there were a lot of financial motives for me going into surgery. I could have chosen physical therapy and I would have been comfortable, $70,000 a year, $50,000 a year, having a simple life and having an easier life. But my mother actually urged me to move in the direction more of medicine than physical therapy, which she might deny, but that we had a specific conversation that I'll never forget. And so I made that decision. And when I got to surgery, by the time I got to medical school and was really contemplating it and, deciding if that is what I would do, there was a part of me that was like, just kill the patient and take all the money. But when you realize the realities of that, especially in the American healthcare system and, most of the developed world, if not all of the very developed world, and probably probably not every hospital system. I'm pretty sure there are places where you can go and do that. But you usually end up having to lie, cheat, and steal. And you usually, have to evade the medical malpractice system as well as the patient. So, I didn't really want to live that lifestyle where I'm constantly having to figure out, how do I undo this mess? How do I unscrew myself this time? And why did I operate on that patient? And why did I, make that decision? And is that one dead? I'm sure in that situation, some surgeons probably even think, wow, if the patient just dies, at least I can move on with my life. So the other side to that is that if you do a poor job as a surgeon, and sometimes even if you do a brilliant job as a surgeon, the patient still suffers. And you still hasten death just by cutting them open one time. That's on an absolute scale. People might deny that, but I know that is true. Sure, you can do the cost-benefit analysis or the pros and cons or, what's the best action. And yes, sometimes that does point to surgery. But preventing surgery and living a life free of surgery and all medical interventions, even psychiatric interventions, is an optimal and maximization of health. No doubt about that. But the other difficult thing with surgery is that, even if you do a brilliant job, if you make a mistake, or even if you don't make a mistake and it's just a complicated patient, you still end up having to do all of the post-operative care as the attending surgeon, which is a lot of work and gets very tiresome when you have to deal with that patient for the rest of your life until either they die or you die, or you are both satisfied with the curative procedure. So it's a lot of work to get to the point of mastering surgery and being a superior surgeon, not just an operator, not just someone who can cut someone open and know some anatomy and some basic physiology, but really knowing the procedures, really knowing and inventing and creating procedures, and really understanding the biology, the anatomy, genetics, and even the evolutionary components to a patient and humanity in general. And as for that, for the serious surgeons, especially the ones already starting in grade school, in high school, it's not just about understanding all of humans' anatomies. That's a very key important part, but it is also understanding the anatomy of other homologous animals, which include apes, hominins. Obviously, the hominins, they're pretty much all dead, so those are just fossils. But like chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, dogs. Dogs are a big model for surgeons. So a lot of times procedures are done in dogs. Like my understanding, Joseph Murray. I didn't mention him in my earlier video, but Joseph Murray is another surgeon who I met, and he's a Nobel Prize winner. He, I think, graduated from Harvard Medical School. He went to Holy Cross, where my cousin actually went to that, Dane. And he He got a Nobel Prize for plastic surgery for organ transplantation. Anyway, back to that main point is that, he had to operate on dogs at one point, from what I understand and from what I've read, and to learn to do those procedures, because in the learning process, in the research process, doing it on humans is usually deemed unethical for some things. It's not always unethical, but can be deemed unethical. So anyway, Joseph Murray is another surgeon. I'll put his name in one of my earlier vlogs too, and hopefully you guys get to this vlog and get to see that I included Joseph Murray. So, when it came to surgery, I definitely didn't realize how much work it is, and I also didn't realize the limitations of surgeons. My impression, just from my experience as a patient, was if I had a problem, I go and tell the doctor or the surgeon, and then they cure it for me, no matter what it is. But I started to realize as a medical student, when I really sat and had to do the cases, even as a first-year student, and really, understood the details and how much science is behind it, and then the limitations of the science we know, I was like, well, it's not the same as this concept of God, of knowing everything, all things, at all times, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omnipotent. And we're not that, and that does not exist. We're just energy. So I started to realize the limitations of men as gods, the limitation of this concept of God, and the limitation of doctors, scientists, and surgeons. And for that reason, that was another reason why I took time off, to understand where I fit into all that and what I want to do, what I can accomplish, and who I am as a human, mortal and potentially immortal in my writings. All right, well, I hope that provides some light on surgery, some more insight into me, and definitely feel free to contact me, especially at this point, because it's quite early still in my career, and I have quite a bit of time now to forge some new, exciting, and interesting relationships and fun and exciting interactions that can lead to something very fruitful, productive, and superior. All right, well, you guys take care. Love you all. Bye.